many questions by Arjuna?
6 questions, Mataji.
6 questions. What are they?
Prakriti, Purusha,
Yes.
Jnanam, Jneyam.
Kshetra Jnana,
Okay.
Jnanam, Jneyam, Purusha, Prakriti. 2K, 2J, 2P. Hare Krishna.
So, Purusha, Prakriti, Jnana, Jneyam, and Kshetra, Kshetrajna. 2 Ks, 2 P, and 2 Js. Now, we will try to complete the chapter today. So, last part, that is 27 to 35, is about Jnana Chakshus, the vision of knowledge. Okay. So, in 27, it is said the combination of Kshetra and Kshetrajna. So, how every living entity that is moving and non-moving is a combination of Kshetra and Kshetrajna. That means there will be a field of activity and there will be a knower of the field. Even non-living, right? Even in non-living beings, even though there is the soul is not there, the super soul knows about everyone, right? The super soul controls about, has an influence on everyone. Yavat sanjayate kinjit sattvam stavara jangamam kshetra kshetrajna samyoga tadviti paradarshapa. A chief of Bharadas know that whatever you see in existence, both moving and non-moving, is only a combination of the field of activities and the knower of the field. So whatever we see around us is actually a combination of matter and spirit. Okay, so it's a combination of matter and spirit. So actually, it is said matter doesn't matter, you matter, in the sense the matter which is made up of the the Panchabhutas, that's not what actually matters. The spirit is actually matter. So every living entity, moving and non-moving, in which existence is a combination of Kshetra and Kshetrajna. The Lord as a controller of both, okay, the superior nature Jiva and the inferior nature Prakriti, puts them in motion. Okay, so where else we have come across this, the combination of spirit and matter? Which chapter did we learn all this? Any other chapter we discussed about spirit and matter in Bhagavad Gita?
7th chapter, Mataji.
7, yes.
7,
Bhumi,
Mataji.
Nalo, Vayu. Huh?
7th only, Mataji.
7th, then there's one more.
Chapter 2 also, Mataji.
Yeah, 2nd chapter also, right? 2nd chapter also talks about the soul and everything. So here it is, okay. So that's what it says, is a combination of both. Samam sarveshu bhuteshu tishtanam parameshwaram vinyastav avinashyantam yapashyati cha sapashyati. One who sees the super soul accompanying the individual soul in all the bodies, and you understand that neither the soul nor the super soul within the destructible body is ever destroyed, actually sees. So it's actually said that the super soul is accompanying in every living entity, every body. Even if we go as a worm in a stool, still the super soul comes. That's the mercy of the Lord. The super soul is equally dispersed towards all living entities. Okay. Now, how can you say that he's equally disposed? He says, Samoham sarvabodeshu name darshanasthana priya e pachantitu mam bhaktya mai tetesh chapeham. Krishna says, I'm not partial to anyone, but for my devotees, I'm specially inclined. So isn't that partiality of Krishna? You can have raised hands. Krishna says, I'm equally disposed to all living entities. But in 9th chapter, Krishna says that whoever do devotional service to him is all actually, yes, Deval Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. So your analogy is like of a father who might be charitably disposed, but for his own son, he'll give special attention.
Okay, that is one. And also, if you take a father having 2 children, a child, okay, that is one special attraction. It's a natural affection. You mean the natural affection, right, of a father to a. So that means devotees are like the own sons of the Lord. What about devotees being dependent on the Lord, right? Completely dependent, always calling out to the Lord, surrendering to the Lord, like a small child who's always dependent on the mother. The elder one is independent. That doesn't mean the mother doesn't love the elder one. The mother's love for both the children is the same. But the younger one is specially close or specially inclined to the father or to the mother. So the mother takes care of the younger one. So that's natural. So you can't say God is partial. It's natural affection to the devotees. And he's residing in the heart of all embodied beings. He's indestructible, situated in the destructible bodies. Neither the soul nor the super soul are ever destroyed. And one who sees this actually sees. In the sense, not that lamenting for the body, but we know that the soul and super soul are indestructible. The soul, we learned in the second chapter, right? Nainam tishtadi shastrani, nainam dahati pavaka. So even the fire, water, nothing can cut the soul. The soul is immortal. Samam pashyanti sarvatra samavistam ishwaram nahinasti atmanatmanam tado yati param gati. One who sees the super soul equally present everywhere, in every living being, does not degrade himself in the mind, thus he approaches the transcendental destination. So finding, this is a Pandita Samadarshina concept, right? A Pandit sees everyone equal in the sense, Vidya Vinaya Sambanne, Brahmane, Kavi Hastine, Shuni Cheva Swapakecha, Pandita Samadarshina. He sees an elephant, Brahmana, or a Chandala, or a cow, dog eater. Everyone is equal because he sees a Paramatma. And this sloka almost resembles that same sloka, saying that this is a matured vision, like a pure devotee. A pure devotee sees Krishna everywhere, in the sense he sees not the body, he sees the Paramatma. The seeing in proper knowledge, one does not degrade himself by pursuing selfish desires of the mind, but one approaches the transcendental destination. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, the living entity, by accepting his material existence, has become situated differently than in spiritual existence. But if one understands that the Supreme is situated as Paramatma manifestation everywhere, that is, if one sees the presence of the Supreme Personality Godhead in every living thing, does not degrade himself by a destructive mentality, and he therefore gradually advances to the spiritual world. See, this is for terrorism and things like that. If the terrorists think that the other opposite country, whoever it is, he thinks as an enemy, but if he sees that the Krishna as Paramatma in their heart also, okay, that means what? He doesn't have destructive mentality. He doesn't feel like destroying the other country or the people, because he knows that everybody is part and parcel of the mind of the Lord. The mind is gradually addicted to sense gratificatory process, but when one mind turns to the super soul, one becomes advanced in spiritual understanding. So that's why Krishna consciousness is rising everyone to the Sattva Gun, Shuddha Sattva Gun. Prakrteva cha karmani kriyamanani sarvashaha yapashyati tadatmanam akartaram sapashyati. One who can see all that activities are performed by the body, which is created of the material nature, and sees that the self does nothing, actually sees. So self does nothing. So actually there are the three doers, right? Who are they? Three doers. I think we discussed.
Soul, super soul, and the nature, material nature.
The soul, super soul, and material nature. So the soul, what does the soul do?
Desires, Mataji.
Desires. So desires is a very important thing. Everybody can have desires. Prabhupada says we have to purify it. That's it. Because only a stone cannot have desires. So all of us will have desires, but desires should be devoted in Krishna's service. Okay. So desires, and then super soul has to sanction it, and the three modes of material nature has to carry it out. Right. So this is how they are related. So so that means soul is not the doer, or we say because the super soul has to sanction, but then we are suffering, right? If super soul why is that we are suffering, or we do something, why is negative things happening, like why Krishna sanctions that also, and suffering is also coming, right?
Material contamination, Mataji.
Because
Okay,
of
because
our
of
past activities and our
past
intense
activities, past
capacities
karma.
at the time of living body.
Yes, and past karma, okay,
Yes,
binding
yes.
us. No, but why is Krishna allowing all this negative things happen around us, terrorism and so many things, killing and murder and rape and so many things happening, right? Unless the super soul sanction, the soul desires, soul can desire anything. We all can desire to become millionaires, but yes, karma, all that way. But we can also, some can desire to do a theft or a murder, right? But why is Krishna sanctioning it?
Partial independence, Mataji.
Yeah, the minute independence, right? Krishna doesn't interfere in your minute independence. You
Yes.
have any analogy to describe the minute independence? Analogy. Not example, analogy. How do you describe the minute independence as?
Like
What
the
is
two birds sitting on a
That's
branch.
not, that is soul and super soul.
Child desires to have ice cream, but later he gets fever. But
Child desire to have the ice cream.
later he gets cold or fever, but parents are not responsible for that. It's child who decides
Okay.
about it.
Mataji, a child wants to play with the knife, but the parent doesn't allow. Then finally, the parent allows.
Okay. No, analogy. This is okay. Ice cream thing and also allowing that. That is why Krishna is sanctioning negative things. Yes, because the soul had intense desire and this soul is very adamant, right? That's why. And as mother said, the ice cream thing, yes, the parents doesn't interfere in that minute independence of they give the money, but they don't say which flavor to take, which they give that minute independence to the child to decide. Minute independence, best analogy is to think about a cow tied with the rope. Okay, there is a tree and a cow is tied. Now the cow can just imagine some 10 meters rope or something like small rope. And you've seen the milkman ties. Now that cow can graze, can eat the grass around that tree up to that particular diameter, right? It can't cross that rope and go. But does the milkman come and interfere in that? No, the cow is allowed to go in that particular radius and eat all the grasses there. But the cow cannot go beyond it. And the milkman doesn't come and interfere also and retie it. No, he just leaves him because, okay, he knows that cow can eat only to that particular diameter. So similarly, we also have a particular minute independence around us. A particular, we don't know how much percentage, but it's there. And Krishna doesn't come and interfere in that minute independence. Now, if the cow wants, it can eat the grass or it can just lie down there. No, it can do whatever it wants in that particular diameter, right? It can do whatever it wants. Similarly, Krishna doesn't interfere in our minute independence and we can use it in a right way or misuse it, right? So Krishna doesn't interfere into that. And also, if you have killed somebody in your past life, this life, you might get killed by someone. No, that's called mamsa, right? It says, you eat me today and I eat you, you eat me next life. That's what it is said. But think about all the negative things we have done before coming to Krishna consciousness, but that's all washed away by chanting. And also taking up to Krishna consciousness is itself is a purificatory process. Atonement, greatest atonement. But then others, that's why meat eating, one of the, this 4 regulative principles, as Namanishta Prabhu says, you don't think that, oh, what is this in ISKCON? You have to leave tea, coffee, onion, garlic. So tough. I was also thinking, I'll never take initiation, I thought. I can't leave tea, coffee, onion, garlic. Why, what is this so strict in ISKCON? My friend have taken Diksha from some other Sampradaya. She's still eating meat. So what is there? So what we tend to do is we try to go to that Sampradaya. We just leave like, why is ISKCON so strict? Huh? What this tea and coffee will do to you? But then you should know that slowly, the purificatory process doesn't happen if you take intoxication, if you have all these tamoguna foods. That's why the 4 regulative principles is very, very important. So meat eating will destroy the daya component in you. Right? You feel like killing anything and everything for your sense gratification. How will you have this daya? Mahaprabhu have taught us 3 things. What are the 3 things Mahaprabhu said? The basic 3 things we all should follow. His teachings. The essence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings. 3 things he said. It's the basics of our Gaudiya Sampradaya.
Be kind to everyone.
Yeah, Jivera Daya. Then be kind to everyone. That is Jivera Daya. Daya, mercy to all. Then 2 more things. Okay, chanting. Dinesh Prabhu says chanting. Yes, that is Name Ruji. Then Name Ruji, Jivera Daya, and 1 more.
Treat everyone equal.
Sadhu Seva, Mataji. Sadhu Sangha Seva.
Seva, Vaishnav Seva. Good. So he said 3 things. 1 is Jivera Daya, Name Ruji, Jivera Daya, and Vaishnav Seva. Name Ruji, chanting the holy name. Then you get the taste, Name Ruji. You get Ruji in the holy name, the Nama Prabhu. Then Jivera Daya, you have to show mercy to the Jivas. How do we do mercy? By spreading Krishna consciousness. They are suffering. Let them also get transcendental pleasure. So Jivera Daya, Name Ruji, and Vaishnav Seva, serving the Vaishnavas. Okay, so this is the 3 things which Mahaprabhu have taught us. See, here it is said, Prakriti is the doer, in the sense, soul can desire, super soul have to sanction, but unless the material nature carries it out, how will it happen? So all material activities are performed by the body, which is created by the Prakriti. But can Prakriti create alone? No. Like there's an analogy discussed in Bhagavatam about a tree. A tree looks like it is growing alone, but then somebody has to sow the seed, right? Someone has put the seed into it and watered it, or might be natural rain, or at least the birds would have taken the seed and thrown somewhere, something. Somebody has sown the seed, right? Even what is the other analogy? Prakriti looks like independent, but she's not. Any other analogy you can think about? Material nature looks independent, but she can't create, like a mother. She can't produce a child alone. She needs a father, a husband. Similarly, material nature is also looks like independent, but she's not. There's one more analogy.
Electrical appliance, Mataji.
Yeah, unless somebody
Switch it on.
switch it on, it won't work. Okay. One more analogy. Very famous analogy. Prabhupada often quotes this. Okay, you've heard about the nipples on the goat's neck. Anyone heard about it? What is the specialty of the nipples of a goat's head? Goat's neck. Goat's neck will have nipples. Yes, Krishna Kesh, Chitra Krishna Sevani
Hare Krishna Mataji. It doesn't know milk, Mataji. It thinks
Yeah.
it can drink milk, but it can't. Hare Krishna.
That means, no, that nipples on the neck, it looks like nipples, but it doesn't produce milk. It's a fake one. It looks like, I think I've not seen completely, but some goats, if you see, it looks like nipples, small, but it doesn't give milk. So similarly, material nature looks independent, but she's not independent. There is a Purusha, there is a Krishna who's in controller, right? The self does nothing. One who sees like this actually sees. So sometimes we do the sin and we say that I didn't do anything. The three modes of material nature did, or Krishna sanctioned it. That's why it happened. But why I am have to suffer? Material nature doesn't have to suffer. Super soul doesn't have to suffer. Why? Because we misused our minute independence, right? Krishna is just a witness there. Just a witness. Okay. Yada Buddha Pradak Bhavam Ekastam Anupashyati Tada Eva Cha Vistaram Brahma Sampadyate Tada. When a sensible man sees to see different identities due to different material bodies and he sees how beings are expanded everywhere, he attains to the Brahman conception. So that is a material vision that is Charma Chakshus, right? We see separate identities due to the different material bodies. We see a dog, we see a Brahmana, everyone is different because of the material body. That's a Charma Chakshus. When you get matured vision, then you see how beings of same spiritual nature, souls, are expanded everywhere. And such vision, we go to the Brahman platform. Okay, a little more. Then in material concept of life, we find a demigod, human, dog, cat, everything as equal. That's material vision, not actual vision. This material differentiation is due to material concept of life. And after the destruction of the material body, the spirit soul is one. The spirit soul, due to contact with material nature, gets different types of body. When one can see this, he attains spiritual vision. Karanam guna sanga asya. So why are we getting different species of bodies? Why we have different species of bodies? That is based on the mode you associate with. That's why when you follow the four regulative principles, when you naturally try to get up at Brahma Muhurta and take a bath and chant your rounds and have sattvic prasadam, try to at home. I understand like sometimes there is issues, but still trying to be vegetarian, trying to be sattvic in lifestyle, just to offer the bhog and take prasadam. So when we try to do such things, what happens? Slowly we are associating with Sattva-guna. And then we'll go to Shuddha Sattva-guna. So since we are associating with Sattva-guna, the next life, material nature will give us a body which is suitable for Sattva-guna. But if we associate with Tamo-guna, meat eating and all this gambling and intoxication, so many negative things, then what happens? We also will get a body in that particular species, might be animal form or something like that, degraded species. So Karanam Guna Sangha Asya, the reason why we have different types of species of life is because of the guna we associate with. Sangha Asya. Sangha, we associate with that particular mode of nature, material nature, so we get that particular body. Right? That's why everyone, like when Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati was giving Brahmanic initiation to his disciples, many caste Brahmanas and upper Sambradayas, they were throwing stones at Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. How can you do this? But then Shastra also proves that Chatur Varna Maya Srishna Guna Karma Vibhaga. Krishna also says based on Guna and Karma. So slowly, even we can see the foreigners and everyone getting Brahmanic initiated, getting the thread, right, which only smart Brahmanas used to get. Caste Brahmanism was allowed, but even anyone born in even Chandala family, right, can become a Brahmana if he follows these rules and regulations. That's why after first initiation, 1 year after first initiation only, you can apply for Brahmanic or second initiation. So just imagine you getting the Gayatri mantra from your guru. How is it possible? It's not possible in this life unless you're born in that Brahmin family. But the Sambradaya is so good. That's because you're following the rules and regulations, because you're associating with Shuddha Sattvagun, because you become more than a Brahmana, like a Vaishnava is more than a Brahmana. Then what happens? So it is there is a sloka says, Satkarma Nipuna Vipra Mantra Tantra Visharita Avaishnava Guru Nasya Vaishnava Sopacho Guru. Satkarma Nipuna Vipra Mantra Tantra Vishara. If you know all the Vedas and everything, and mantras and tantras and everything, Vipra, you're a Brahmana, still Avaishnava Guru Nasyat. If you're not a Vaishnava, you can't become a Guru. But Vaishnava Swapacha Guru. Swapacha is a dog eater, a Chandala. A Chandala, if he's a Vaishnava, he can become a Guru. So that means Vaishnava is greater than a Brahmana. That's why, because a Vaishnava follows all the rules and regulations, and he's continuously associating with Shuddha Sattvagun. Just imagine getting up at Brahma Muhurta, taking a bath, chanting your rounds, all that you're doing in Shuddha Sattvagun. Slowly, what happens? You get influenced by the Shuddha Sattvagun. You don't feel like eating anything which is abominable, in the sense lesser than prasadam, or your consciousness gets cleaned daily by daily. So what happens? You try to get that particular type of body. So it is said the spirit soul, due to contact with material nature, get different types of bodies, right? So we should understand this part is very important. If we want to get a better body, in the sense, definitely when you chant Hare Krishna, you won't go below a human form. But still, in human form, there are 4 lakh varieties, right? So to have a good consciousness, to be in Krishna conscious, then we should follow the rules and regulations. When one can see this, he attains spiritual vision. 32 to 35 says the soul is a non-doer and is not entangled. Okay, non-doer in the sense he desires, but actually we should not be proud that I'm doing all this. No, it's actually the super soul sanctioning and the 3 modes of material nature carrying it away. Anaditvan nirgunatvat paramatmayam avyaya sharirasto api kaunteya nakarodina labhyate. Those with the vision of eternity can see that the imperishable soul is transcendental, eternal, and beyond the modes of nature. Despite contact with the material body, O Arjuna, the soul neither does anything nor is entangled. Is an example analogy given as a soul, like air, okay? Air can come from different places. It can come through the kitchen and take nice gulab jamun smell. It can come through the bathroom area and there's something very bad smell. Or it can come through a garden of jasmine flowers and take. But is the air actually having an aroma? No. The air takes a aroma, leaves it. Takes another aroma, leaves it. Similarly, the soul takes different bodies and leaves it. Doesn't mean it's entangled. Yes, the impression get carried in the mind, the subtle body, mind, intelligence, and false ego. The impression can get carried. Okay. But then otherwise, it is actually not entangled. It's not entangled actually. But yes, karma, when you do some karma, the karma gets entangled you, right? You in the sense your soul. But that's why we do a karma. The soul is eternal and changeless. Nevertheless, because of being in the material body, does the soul combine with it and gets contaminated by its quality? To answer this, Krishna gives 2 analogies. The soul does not mix with matter. The soul situated in Brahman vision stay aloof, those situated in the material body. Like sky, the sky doesn't mix with anything, okay, due to its subtle nature. And also like a sun will illuminate the whole universe. Similarly, the soul illuminates the entire body by consciousness. So this 2 analogies are very important. What's the Falashruti of this? Those who sees with the eyes of knowledge the difference between the body and the knower of the body can also understand the process of liberation from the bondage in the material nature, attain to the supreme goal. So, the body is the kshetra, and who is the knower of the body? Soul and the super soul. So if we know the difference between that soul and super soul, this is actually kind of a Sankhya philosophy by Kapila Dev. And he also says the same thing, matter and spirit. So once we know this, then we understand the process of liberation. How to get out of this entanglement, right? By doing Bhakti Yoga. That's why first, middle 6 chapters, Krishna spoke about Bhakti Yoga, which is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. And later on, he went to the Jnana Yoga, right? So we say the Bhakti Yoga is like a butter, the cream of Bhagavad Gita. Why is it compared to a butter? It's like a cream.
Mataji, in all the 3 sections of Bhagavad Gita, it is bhakti which is prominent. But how to attain the bhakti through karma and through jnana, that is why it is in the middle part, 6 to 12.
No, I'm asking the butter. Yes, Sri Devi Mataji said something.
Essence. Essence is in the
Essence. So you have the milk, okay, and you put it to boil, and then it become and then after that later on you add some lime or something, and the cream comes out, and then you make it a yogurt, and slowly you churn it and make the butter. So butter is coming. That's the essence of the whole milk. The rest, what you drain off, is just water, right? So the essence, the cream, is that butter. So it is said that all the Vedic knowledge, if it is put like a milk and you churn it, like the essence is coming out. That is like kind of a Gita Upanishad, right? Sarvopanishado gavo goda gopalanandana partho vatsa sudhir gopta duktam Gita-amritam mahat. Gita Mahatmya, Shankaracharya also says like this whole Vedic literatures, everything is like a cow. And who's milking the cow and who's drinking it?
Krishna is milking and Arjuna
Krishna
is
is milking and Arjuna is drinking the
Arjuna is
milk.
drinking.
Krishna
Yeah,
is
so,
doing this.
so similarly, here, yeah. So as Mataji said, that's the essence. The butter is kind of an essence which is very nutritious and palatable. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, scriptures are also like the cream, because it's palatable. It nourishes us, right? Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam nourishes us, and it's the essence, or it is authentic scriptures, authorized scriptures, that is. So if we understand this, then the process of liberation is easy, and we can get out of the bondage of material nature to attain the supreme goal. So summary of this chapter 13 is, one should know the distinction between body, that is kshetra, owner of the body, that is kshetrajna, and the super soul is also kshetrajna, and one should recognize the process of liberation. Okay, then one can go on to the supreme destination. This material world is working by the conjunction of the soul and 24 material elements, the Mahatattva. One who can see the constitution of the whole material manifestation as a combination of soul and material elements can also see the situation of the super soul become eligible for transfer to the spiritual world. These things are meant for contemplation and for realization, and one should have a complete understanding of this chapter with the help of spiritual master. Okay, so that's what Srila Prabhupada is helping us. Otherwise, this chapter is going to be very difficult. But Prabhupada's purports are so simple that it makes us understand the concept, right? Okay, now there's a breakout room. I don't want, okay, after that we'll have a attendance link posted. I don't want slides to be made. Last time some team made a slide. No, that's not. The question is, you have to summarize chapter 30, okay? Identify the main philosophical concept. And then the second part, pictorial form. It should be a pictorial form, not in slides. Okay, don't make slides. You have to draw. I'll make small groups. Catch one person in that group who's a nice artist. May not be a big, great artist, but whatever, you can scribble it, okay, and draw it to summarize chapter 13. You understood? Just understand what chapter 13 is about, and you have to draw it. And that person have to on the video and show me your book where you're drawn, and that person or another devotee can explain it. Okay, so we'll go small breakout room, summarize chapter 13 and identify the main philosophical concept and present a pictorial form and explain it.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, due to my bad connection of network, I was out of the group. Mataji, can
Okay,
you
okay.
please add me again?
Okay.
Thank you.
Mataji, you can post the attendance link. Devi Mataji.
Sure, Mataji.
Okay. So I hope it was nice because I feel this kind of pictorial form, no, you'll never forget chapter 13. Last batch, they all told they liked the activity. And when questions will come like connection between chapter 13 and 14, you will never forget the chapter 13 was about what. No, the pictorial form will help you. Okay, so I made small groups this time. Okay, we fill the attendance form also by then. So we'll start with room number 4. Anita Mataji, Aravind Gyani Prabhu, Kanambiri Mataji, and Smita Mataji. So who is doing? And I want to see the your picture. So Aravind Prabhu is doing? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu, you can start.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, I prepared this chart which shows the flow of all the 35 verses of Bhagavad Gita chapter 13. So herein, and the flow starts with 6 questions of Arjun, wherein he is asking about Prakriti, Purush, Kshetra, Kshetragyan, Jnanam, and Geyam, which is answered by Lord Krishna. He describes about Kshetra, Kshetragyan, and Jnanam in verse number 2 to 7. In verse number 2 to 3, he is explaining that Kshetra is body, Kshetragyan is both soul and Krishna. Jnanam is perfect knowledge. In verse number 4 to 5, Lord Krishna promises to explain 6 topics about Kshetra and Kshetragyan and quotes authorities. In verse number 6 to 7, Lord Krishna is talking about the composition, qualities, changes, and the origin of the body. In verse number 8 to 12, which is Jnanam, the process of acquiring knowledge. Here, the verses explain about the 20 elements of knowledge, like humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, and others. Then the flow comes to verse number 13 to 19, which talks about Geyam, the object of knowledge. Here, soul and super soul are the objects of knowledge, the qualities of the super soul. It has been explained. Then the flow comes to verse number 20 to 26, wherein in verse number 20 to 22, it has been explained that Prakriti, nature, and Purush are eternal. Prakriti causes all material causes and effects. Jiva associates with modes, changes bodies, and causes his own happiness and distress. Verse number 23 talks about that super soul is the real Purush. Verse number 24 talks about knowing Prakriti, Purush, Gunas, one attains liberation. Verse number 25 to 26 explains about different modes of liberation. Then the last segment, verse number 27 to 35, which talks about the vision of knowledge. Verse number 27, which talks that every entity is a combination of Prakriti and Purush. Verse number 28 to 31 talks about that a true seer's vision of Jiva, Prakriti, and Paramatma. And the last segment, verse number 32 to 35, talks about the non-doership of the soul. I will present this chart once again, which shows the flow of all the 35 verses. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare Krishna. So who's doing from room number 3?
Mataji, we have a split into 2. First is what are the main issues dealt in chapter 13, and second presentation is regarding the flow chart of what the main issues. So I'm going to present the main issue which are dealt with in chapter 13. Basic issue is that there are 2 categories of devotees, persons. One is atheist and the other is believer. So this chapter talks about believers only. And for a believer, what is the main issue which he must know, or again the knowledge, that is the Prakriti, Purush, Kshetra, Gyan, and Geyam, what is to be known. So these are the 6 basic topics which are discussed in 35 verses. So firstly, what is the knowledge? The basic knowledge is about knowing about the body, soul, and super soul. And the real knowledge is knowing the distinction and distinct role of all the 3 entities and their constitution also. So, but when we know about this knowledge, how to apply this knowledge, for that we have to know the process of acquiring this knowledge. And the process is one has to be faithful, has to have a good association of devotees. Under a spiritual master, he should hear. Hearing is very important here. And then from the spiritual master, one should learn what is difference between body and matter. Now, in Sankhya Yoga, we normally believe that body is made of 24 elements, but in Sankhya, they believe 26 elements. 25th is soul and 26th is super soul. But ultimately, whether it is fruity worker, a jnani or yogi, ultimately they all go to the ultimate goal of knowing the path of liberation or reaching the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But Bhakti Marg is the easiest part of it. So when we know this, through this process of we know the real knowledge, then the stage of contemplation, analysis, and real application for attaining the supreme abode is to be exercised. That is the application of this knowledge. Now, the main issue, other issues which are discussed here, is that all activities are done under the influence of are done. Body does not do it. The body is non-doer. It is indestructible. It is eternal and transcendental. So is the super soul. Super soul has a primary role of sanctioning and observing the activities. Soul desires, and the material body of three modes of material nature, they execute the desire, fulfill the desire. Second issue is that how do we get different type of bodies? That is based on the when the soul gets in contact with three modes of material nature, then different types of bodies are. The mode of nature may be Shuddha Tattva, goodness or ignorance or passion. That based on that person gets a body. So this is basic summary of 1 to 35. And Sunita Mataji will present a graphic presentation of what has been given in the chapter 13. Thanks, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I've just written in a flow diagram like Mataji. Kshetra, this chapter deals with 6 aspects, that is Kshetra, Kshetragna, Purusha, Prakriti, Gnana, and Gneyam. So Kshetra means the field of activities, that is the body, and Kshetragna, knower of the field, and knower of the field, and that there are 2 knowers, soul and super soul. Prakriti, that is in Prakriti we have Pradhana, unmanifested, a form of 3 modes, and Mahat Tattva, that includes 24 elements. Purusha, the enjoyer of the Supreme Soul. Gnana, knowledge of the body and the soul and the super soul. Gneya, the object of knowledge. And the 3 doers. 3 doers are soul, super soul, and the material nature. Soul desires, super soul sanctions, and the material nature carries it out. And when the soul comes in contact with the material nature or in the association of the material nature, it undergoes suffering or enjoyment, and it leads, and it undergoes suffering and enjoyment. And the Falashruti of the whole chapter, this is basically the one who knows, or one who understands the self does nothing, actually sees the difference between the Kshetra and Kshetragna, and which leads to the liberation and to attain supreme goal. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so room number 2.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes,
This chapter 13, we started all the way. It started with the original 6 questions. The diagram and flowchart Nirja Mataji has drawn. Just I will explain in the diagram what she has drawn. It started with the 6 questions. This Prakriti, Purusha, Kshetra, Kshetraga, Jnanam, and Gyam. Then it was described that definition of the Kshetra, Kshetraga in initial all the chapters 4 to 5. This here see Krishna assured Arjuna that he will explain all those 6 questions. Then he has explained the composition that changes qualities of the Kshetra, and about that Jnanam, this how that knowledge is acquired, that process of acquiring those knowledge, all those elements included in that process, these 20 elements that is discussed. Then that objects of the knowledge, that souls and super soul, they are the objects. So, and their qualities, that is also discussed in that this paras 13 to 19 slokas. Then then comes the Prakriti and Purusha. That nature, then this Prakriti and Purusha, they are eternal. They are all material causes and effects what Prakriti creates, Jiva associates. Then it changes its bodies, and this happiness and distress are being, they are the causes. Then there are unions, Prakriti, Purusha and unions at 20, 25, 26 slokas. It is, they are given the union of those Prakriti and Purushas. Then that super soul, the definition and his real character, he is the real Purusha, that is the super soul, it is told. Then how one can attain, that is, if one somebody is knowing that what is Purusha, what is Prakriti, and what are the gunas, then they are he can attain the liberation. That is also explained. Then different methods also explained. Next is at the end, it has come that every entity that which is a combination of Prakriti and Purusha, and that those who have realized the true seeds, their vision about the this Prakriti and Paramatma. That way, that chapter has been discussed. And Mataji, Niraja Mataji has drawn diagram that is to be shown. Mataji. Niraja Mataji? Are you here, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, yes, Prabhuji, yes, yes.
Yes, you can narrate that one. Talk a little bit.
Yeah, this is yeah, Krishna. Arjuna is asking the questions for Krishna as explained by Prabhuji. Here down is Krishna. He is asking about the 6 questions to Krishna, and the explanation is here. What is Prakriti Purusha, Kshetra, Kshetragna, and Jnana, Jnana. One more is, and Krishna is the knower of all the living entities, and the 3 modes of nature is being controlled by Krishna, and the living entities are controlled by the 3 modes of nature.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Okay, room number 1.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Our room came up with
It's not clear. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. It's getting blurred sometimes. Okay.
okay. This is the flowchart which we came up, Mataji. So the chapter starts with Arjuna asking 6 questions to Krishna, and in verse 13.2, Krishna starts explaining about answers for these questions, and 13.2, Krishna gives details about who is Kshetra, what is Kshetra, and who is the Kshetrajna. Kshetra is the field of activities, and Kshetrajna is whoever has the knowledge of this field of activities. Whoever resides in the Kshetra is the Kshetrajna. And in, it goes to next verse 33. Krishna explains that it's not only the soul, the living entity, who knows about the Kshetra, but also there is also a Krishna also knows, and he acts as a super soul, and he also knows about all the field of activities. And then from 6 to 7, Krishna explains about what are all the field of activities, like what constitute this Kshetra. So Krishna explains about it. And then we go explain about the knowledge. When from verse 8 to 12, Krishna explains about what is the real knowledge. Here, the focus is mostly on the virtues, not on the material knowledge which we try to get. It's mostly Krishna focus on the virtues are considered to be the knowledge. And from verse 14 to 19, Krishna says the qualities of a soul and also super soul, and says super soul is all pervading, and also says object of knowledge is what who knows about what is Kshetra, what is Kshetrajna, and there are 2 Kshetrajna. both soul and super soul. And from verse 20 to 22, Krishna describes about Prakriti and Purusha, like how both are beginless, and Prakriti is the cause of material effects, and because of the Purusha, I mean the soul being entangled in this material nature, it undergoes transformation, and it is the cause of sufferings and enjoyment. And verse 22 talks about the reason for this transmigration, like why the soul transmigrate. It's because of this contact with the material nature, and it transmigrates. And in verse 23, Krishna explains about Paramatma, who is the real Purusha and acts as an Upadrishta Anumanta. It's like observer and seer. And further down from verse 24 to 25, it explains about the result of knowing Purusha, Guna, and whoever knows all these things, they will attain the liberation. And from 27 to 35, it explains about Jiva is the combination of both Prakriti and Purusha, and real seer is who knows that both the soul and the super soul does not do any activity. They are not the real doer. And whoever views this, whoever has this eyes of knowledge between the soul, the super soul, and whoever can differentiate between the Kshetra and the Kshetrajna, they will attain the liberation. So this is what we came up with, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, very nice. Yes, so the drawing part is actually nice. Just the flow chart, okay, it will help. But then when you draw, last class they drew the 3 modes of material nature. Then yes, as Mataji drawn Krishna, then Arjuna, and in a drawing way they were showing. It was nice. Okay, so then you'll never forget the chapter. So now I think all of you won't forget what chapter 13 was about, right? Okay. So anything to add? Then we end here today. So we finished chapter 13. From next week onwards.
One thing, Mataji, that Gita Mahatma, you was telling, no, that
Gita Mahatma.
Gita Mahatma, Sarvopanishad Gao Dogda Gopalanandana, Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhakta, Dugdham Gita Mritam Mahat.
Yes.
That drinking the milk, is it Arjuna is drinking the milk? He's the calf, no? But he's not drinking the milk. Milk we are drinking.
He's the calf. He's the calf drinking, and milking is done by Krishna. But we are also waiting to drink that milk like nectar. So Arjuna is drinking, yes, like a calf. Yes, calf. Vatsa. Vatsa means calf, no?
That's
yes,
right.
yes. So that's Arjuna. Yes, Ganeshan Prabhu. Hare Krishna. You can unmute, Prabhu. I can't hear you, Prabhu. Network problem. We can't hear
Krishna
you.
Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Prabhu, you can type. I can't hear you. Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, Mataji, I tried to upload the shlokas, but after 8 to 10 shlokas, it's not getting uploaded. Is it I have to compress?
What about others? Anybody had difficulty?
No problem, Mataji. All are loaded nicely. It is completed. Both way we can complete. One is we can record separately. That also can be loaded. Or going to the camera directly, we can speak. There mostly I have done that one.
That's better. No, directly you can you try that, Mataji. In that upload file, then go to camera, then immediately you capture and then send.
Okay, Mataji.
Mataji, all 14 shlokas are to be uploaded in one single link. Earlier it was said 7 in one go and 7 in others, 7 in second. But now we are able to upload all the 14 shlokas.
Yeah, before I thought 7 plus 7, but one of my admins helped me to have different slots for different slokas.
Yes. So it is easy now.
That way it was nice. Okay.
It is easy now.
Okay, I think we can end here. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for joining. Okay, so one more thing. one more discussion is I like to finish this module fast. So we're planning for 2 days in a week class. Okay, it is Tuesdays and Thursdays. Is that okay with everyone? So that we can finish the module fast. 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Yes, Mataji.
Is anybody having problem? Tuesdays
Mataji,
and
one weekend,
sorry, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
1 weekend, 1 weekend, can we do like that?
1 week?
Means instead of Tuesday, can we have it on Saturday or Sunday, Mataji?
So Saturday, Sunday, I'm busy. Saturday again, I'm going to start a new batch. No, I'm clubbing 2 batches. There's a Tuesday batch on the same chapter 14, and your Thursday batch is also on chapter 14. So I thought of taking 2, putting you all in 2 batches, 2 days, so that instead of once a week class, we'll have twice a week class, and we can finish Bhakti Shastri fast to speeden up the classes.
Mataji, will it be only for chapter 14 or going forward?
At least Bhagavad Gita module, I think I'll finish fast. NOD and NOI, we can have separate this thing. But just think about it so that we can, we'll have a poll and we'll see how many are going for it. Okay, otherwise we'll continue like this. But it will be a little slow, that's why. If we can have twice a week class, because Naminishra Prabhu is suggesting everyday class. Everyday class, and that was like express, and I was like, no, Prabhu, I open book, closed book, slokas, devotees will get frustrated, every day, and you come back to back assignments. You will feel initially you will feel okay, but then later on it will be like too much for this thing. Weekend I have 2 batches. I have Sunday separate batch. Saturday I'm going to start a new batch. So initiation course might be there on Saturdays. So yeah, for some it's okay, Tuesday and Thursday, or else we'll go with Thursdays only. We'll see. Yes, Ganesh Prabhu, I posted the attendance link to you.
Mataji, one question is that if that OBS can be given in advance now itself, we can play OBA, open book assessment.
After 14th chapter, I'll do.
No, Mataji, for all this, suppose 13, 14, then 15,
yeah,
16,
the module
in
3.
advance if you
Yes.
module
I'll
3
share,
poll if
I'll
you give,
yes.
that will be, we will get enough time.
Okay. I'll share it. Okay, Hare Krishna everyone. Thank you for joining on.